Yo,
damn,
what's up?
that was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, it gets you hyped every time, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Welcome to Diabolical Souls Presents. I'm the host Gooch, and this is the crew. We got. Let me just switch you here, there, Zach. You got to be on the bottom because you're drawing.
Yeah.
I got my bro.
That's awesome.
He's been here from day one. Amateur analyst. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Just been really freaking busy lately, so just trying to get the world to stop spinning so I can sit down and think about Cyberpunk again. So.
And then of course we got Sammy 3Pete. What's going on there, brother? How are you doing?
Nothing. Everything's going good. Just to check in, my wife is doing much better. Thank you for all the shout outs and love.
Awesome. I was just gonna ask. Yeah.
So we are getting the ball rolling. She's got surgery next week, and hopefully that'll solve whatever's been going on. So that's
She'll pull
good news. That's great. I'm happy to hear that. And the Emperor himself, Mr. Jay Goodwin. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm happy I don't have to adjust the gain on my headset for Sammy's attire this time. That jacket was pretty loud last time.
And we got a rookie tonight. We got someone popping his cherry, Mr.
A young Deb.
It's so red too.
Well, I'm excited that you came on. We've been talking about getting you on here for quite a while.
Yeah.
Now, and then I'm excited that you can join us tonight. I look forward to getting your perspective on the show. And is that water?
Yeah, it happens once a year.
Oh my god!
I know.
What is happening?
Yeah, I'm not
No, I can't have this. I'm just like,
I got some triple sec. Give me a second. I'll mix them both.
Okay, all right, yeah.
there we
As long
go.
as you spike it up. Yeah.
There we go.
There it is.
And then
Should we dox him?
so before we
He's got to get ready to go drive the Uber.
yeah. Before we get into talking about Zach here, our artist, I just want to quickly say to everyone watching on YouTube, everyone watching on Twitch and X, thank you for watching. I appreciate you all. If you could hit that sub button, if you can hit that like button, and if you can leave a comment, that'd be greatly appreciated. Hit that like button. I need those likes to go up. So if you can hit those, I thank you all for joining us. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is my first time on Twitch, so we got a few people already watching on Twitch, which is cool.
Really?
So
Nice.
also I'm going to get to Zach here. He is the artist. He's been drawing characters from each series, each episode, and we have plans moving forward. We also have plans of holding an auctioning off all the art that Zach has done. So when we get it all done, when we're done the series, Zach is going to come on and we're going to have an auction and people can bid for these pieces that he has. And there is a lot of really great art there. So I'm excited to do that.
And there's going to be a lot of competitors bidding. So
I mean, I gotta be
wallet.
honest. Well, I gotta be honest, man. This shit is taking a lot of my inks out. Like, I gotta replenish my microns, my brushes, and brush cleaner, all that. So I'm fingers crossed if anybody's interested, because I gotta get rid of these pieces and I need new supplies.
Before I get to the chat, I'm just going to acknowledge this one first. Nas, he is our cyberpunk guru, and he's saying, if you're on Twitch, step your shit up, Gooch. Put on a bikini top and get in the bathtub for a real view.
Oh yeah,
I might have to do that.
Where is the hot tub? What's up?
Yeah, we might have to do a hot tub stream. Thanks, Nas, for the advice. I appreciate that, brother. And of course, everyone in the chat, I gotta acknowledge everyone there. Obviously, Nos is here, Cyber Gooch. I appreciate you, brother. Jamma's been here forever. He's like one of our OGs. Thanks for joining us, Jamma. I appreciate it. We got there's Amateur saying hello to everyone. What's up, all? Gooch is my Lucy by Nos.
To be honest.
I mean, now I really want to see you in the hot tub. All right.
Yeah.
Vex is here. What's up, Vex? Thanks for joining us tonight. She's on Scavenger's Reign. You can check us out on Tuesday nights. She joins us on that show, and we dive deep into that series. So I want to run the edges of all your Cyber Gooches, punk. We got Edwin in the house. Hail peeps. What's up, Edwin? Thanks for joining us, bro. Hosty couldn't make it tonight. He's busy working, but it's good to see Hosty in the house. Nice.
I understand.
Yeah. We got also Watami. Thanks for joining, bro. What's up, everyone? Nice to see amateur analysts back. Yeah, it's always good to see amateur back. We got blue collar. I feel very vexed. Tim, what's up, Tim? IO
yeah.
Gucci, what's up, Tim? And just scrolling down. Common people, what's going on? Thanks for
my
joining us,
boy.
common people. Is this where all the cool people hang out? Because I'm definitely hanging out. Yes.
Common's the one that did my avatar due to a exchange we had on Twitter. He thought he'd be weird, and I decided to out-weird him, and it disturbed him. So he.
Well, this episode tonight, Cyberpunk Edgerunners episode 8. This one's called Stay. This is a different paced episode. We get more information. We see an in-depth breakdown of the relationship between David and Lucy, and the concerns not only from Lucy but from everyone else in the gang, like Kiwi and Rebecca. We get to see Faraday a little bit more in this episode. We get more intel. We get to find out a little things about some of the characters in this series. So it's a pretty cool episode. I like this one. Oh, Jana, thanks for joining us, Jana. What's up, boners? Yeah, I guess we're boners.
Are we expecting BAGFACE to join later? Or is he?
He'll probably show up late. I'm
Okay.
assuming he'll show up late.
Okay.
It wouldn't be a stream if BAGFACE showed up on time.
Well, I didn't know if he had something going on where he was going to miss all of it or not.
Yeah, he'll probably show up sometime. But
right. I'm interested in hearing BAGFACE's reaction to this episode.
Me too. I am too. Let's set this up. Boom. Let's do that. Boom. And we're good to go. Let's get this party started. Okay. Episode 8. This one starts off where we're in a kind of like a lab. It's an Arasaka lab where we see a female assistant talking to Director Evans, as it says right there. And we're not sure if this is in real time or if this is a flashback at this moment right here. She's asking for some time off so she can go celebrate with her son for getting into Arasaka Academy. And the director is just like, I don't have any like he kind of puts it on her. Like he's just like, if you can get someone else to go get the samples, then you can leave. And she's like, well, everyone's left. And basically she has to go get the samples of this UG2 sample. And so she leaves the director to go get the sample, and she comes back and she sees the director. He's dead and shot. She enters the room. He's dead. And we see David on the floor, and you see all the bloody parts, which is always a good thing to see when it comes to the show. And David you can see David you kind of sense he's getting cyberpsychosis. So he's kind of losing himself. And we're still not sure if this is in real time or if this is a flashback or whatever. And so you hear a gunshot indicating that he shoots the lady in the head. General thoughts with this beginnings?
That's some dark shit. That's
Yeah.
I didn't think David. I mean, I guess it's expected because that kid kept pushing himself, and everyone kept telling him he needed to slow down, and it was just bound to happen.
Well, yeah.
I actually. So I think there's some interesting world building going along with this, and then we kind of run into David's current situation. So the manager is very condescending and a douche. She wants to get up early because her kid got accepted into Arasaka Academy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's very much a callback to David's mom and similar things that would be going on there.
Oh, yeah.
But it gives you an idea of little people versus higher up the food chain corpo and how they just really give no shits about you at all, right? Then you see David, huddling there, and the manager is his head has been disassembled vigorously, and
Yeah.
and you're kind of wondering, man, did he, what's going on? Because he very much is kind of in a crouched defensive position, and then she comes in, he switches and aims at her, and you can see him trying to kind of think through the situation, and then we see, you know, from this distant shot, the gunshot and the muzzle flash. So David's definitely not in a good place mentally. We're not quite sure why that's the case yet. But it's shit's about to get real up in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't think too, because he says it's, you know, it's because I killed a woman. He was having problems before that, like you could see, you know, when he walks in. So, you know, he's not being entirely truthful with himself.
Yeah, but I think it's the so certainly later when they had that discussion, there's a difference between Arasaka management. You know, they're part of the game. They're fair targets, right? But the underling, she's really not, right, from his perspective, and then doubly so with the double up with the reminder of his mom and the situation.
Well, yeah, because, you know, you're victimizing his kid or her kid too. I mean, yeah, you know, that weighs on him. Also, who didn't want to see that boss get shot up?
Oh yeah, I was like,
yeah, he was kind of a dick. But I mean, like this when I remember watching this, I'm like, is this real time? Like, is this happening? And then this is how this is starting? Or
yeah, there's kind of a non-linearity to the time, and
so it kind of leaves you in the dust, because then it goes right into the intro here. Or no, sorry, he jumps into the armored car, and Kiwi's asking about you know, what happened there, and he's just like, it was someone jamming.
Were they jamming?
Yeah.
Nope.
And she's like, no, it was everything was connected, everything was clear. And yeah, like we can see right there, someone raised a jammer, and then it gets right into the intro.
Yeah, Rebecca's very bored. She's back there, you know, yawning, and
then we get into this, like, and this is an interesting because we see a couple characters we've never seen before. This is like Kate and Douglas. They're at Arasaka counter Intel, and they start discussing the crew's actions, and they're concerned about a net runner disrupting their activities and stuff like that, and not knowing it's actually Lucy. And so they're discussing everything happening here, you know, talking about the people that have been getting killed, and talking about how they were killed, and how, like, the last one, the director, how it's like completely different from the other two. Because like this one, that's the director right there. Like, not, it says right here, not your average rogue runner looking to make a name. There's some kind of intentions here. So like they don't know what exactly is happening. They're trying to figure it out. And so what they're planning is a kind of a trap to set up who's the mole giving the information out. And if anyone wants to interrupt, just interrupt.
I was gonna say, Gooch, you know, one thing, because I got it on Netflix right now as well. You know, we've all seen enough cartoons. Sometimes you see a gunshot, all you see is a bullet wound and just some blood splatter. That's it. You pause that right there. I see, you know, Zach is drawing the amount of detail. It's not just like a blood splatter. It's like little details. His head's like a split onion. His face is off. Like that one pause. You're like, how long did it take to draw that? That's so much detail for one shot. Like, it's amazing. Just for a simple headshot. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, and the kind of a consistent theme throughout this is that there's an economy of animation effort in certain scenes where it doesn't need it, but when emphasis really requires it, then they really go out, and that one definitely with Homeboy and his head that looks like a leftover from The Thing.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing, and I've mentioned this, and I don't know if you've seen it there, Blue Collar, is like the color tones for this series, and I always go back to like the Blue Eye Samurai and for Scavenger's Reign. The color tones really capture the tone of the scene, like especially for this, like in Night City, like you get the grittiness from Santiago, You get the grittiness, or you get the neon lights for the corp world, and then you get like this, like the bright reds for everything, indicating like, you know, the intel, like they're higher ups, like it's bright, it's powerful. They're really smart with the coloring. The animation is great in this. I love the animation, and they do a really good job. There's, you could see there's like, obviously in like Scavenger's Reign, I always bounce back and forth, but like in Scavenger's Reign, you see like you could tell two different groups, maybe three groups did the animation for that, because the 2D animation, because this is all 2D. The 2D animation in Scavenger's Reign is very plain and simple in one scene, but then it looks like a Venture Brothers scene in the next.
Yeah, this
a little
the
more
consistency is a bit off on Scavenger's Reign. Yeah,
exactly. This one's pretty consistent throughout. The rendering through with this is really well done.
Yeah.
As for like you're talking about the blown off head, you would be surprised how easy it is to just draw that, because you just kind of just throw lines here and you just kind of figure it out and then you just kind of go with it.
Yeah.
It's more like this shot right here, the faces, those are the tricky ones.
Now, can I ask you guys this? Just before he shot that guy, was he hallucinating guns like popping out of his head? Or
yeah, so that's
Yes.
that a bit later where and it explains both the way he deals with this guy and then why he's so amped up when he sees her, and then starts to see the same thing from her.
Yep.
Amateur, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, let's hear your insight, man. You always have like, you love talking about animation, so I'm just curious what you got to say.
Yeah, I mean, I've said most of it already, and you guys covered it pretty well. Like really good economy of animation. You know, they only really put that like 11th scale detail on the things that need it. Yeah, and there is a lot of post-production stuff that they do as well, and I'm glad they don't shy away from it. They don't like get into this one track where they're like, oh, we're gonna do 2D, no CG, no VFX of any kind whatsoever, blah blah blah. No, they use everything to their advantage. So if they need like some cool light bloom or ambient occlusion or something, they go in and they, you know, load it up a nuke and they do that. You know, they use crazy camera work and whatnot.
Yeah, it's something I always wondered about, you know, hand drawing versus now everyone's seeing, you know, AI or Pixar or the like. Maybe it's because we're not seeing too many CGI like horror movies, but like you were saying, Gooch, when I see these pictures right here, in some ways I understand AI pictures and Pixar is more vibrant, more detailed, but this to me seems, something about this seems better. I don't know why, than just seeing like,
it's definitely a different approach, but
I think so. The one thing you have with when you're actually drawing is you have control over what you're going to highlight, what you're going to emphasis, right? And you have, and at least for good 2D animators, they understand how people see things, what catches the eye, where you put in detail to draw the eye to it versus not. In a lot of 3D stuff, you're stuck a bit with what does the rendering engine produce? And there's time involved in that, right? Because I'm going to render 5 minutes of a Pixar movie. That's weeks of compute time. Whereas, and so you get it and you come back, you know, you'll do lower end renders that don't have all of the lighting effects and all that turned on. You get an idea and make sure, you know, your motion is correct and all that. But when you go, you know, full battle rattle and turn everything on, you're looking at weeks, you know, to actually see the shot go. And at a certain point, you know, it's, that doesn't quite get it, but good enough because we're going to blow the budget having to run the compute clusters continuously for this thing. Whereas when you're drawing it by hand, you have full control over where you're putting in the effort, exactly what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for the computers, man, because those things take a pounding. Just all that, you know, all that memory just constantly being in flux with each other to create all that content and to not burn out. It just impresses me that these machines can handle that.
Yeah, they're usually cycled out about every 18 months.
Yeah, your PC does the same thing when you play Cyberpunk. Don't worry.
Yeah. The difference is it's not continuously playing 24/7, 365.
Well, even like this shot right here, like blue collar, like this is a great shot because you're seeing the light reference, and you're seeing like how like the light's coming from one direction, but then you have a light in the back, but you're not getting that secondary light. It's
Right.
really
If you were doing
tricky.
that, if you were doing that with 3D, so
Yep.
you've got your camera and you've got your object here. You would set up your light source over to the left, and it would shine on the face. Right. The problem is if you want those neon tubes in the back to light up, how do you limit it so that it isn't casting light to the object and then causing secondary shadows and highlights and all that? Right. So
Well, if we're talking Disney, there's like the way they would approach it is they would set up what's called an SDI, which is basically a fancy way of saying they know all the reflective surfaces of all the different materials in the room, and then they'll literally turn on a button that says path tracing, and all of those light sources will fill the room with all the different paths that the light goes down, how it reflects, refracts, and whatnot. And it's really dog ass slow. Like, it takes a long time for it to compute, but that's sort of how they start. And then whatever's missing, then they start lighting it. Excuse me.
Right,
Then
you'll
they
have
start
point
lighting
lights
it
and
with
things like
soft
that.
boxes and
Right.
and spotlights and things like that. But they have this. They basically have this cheat button now. It's not really cheating, but it makes everything look real as hell. And like you were saying, there's no, there's no light hitting this character from that light in the back. Whereas if it was path traced, it would be, it would be. And it would be reflecting off her hair different than it would reflect off her ear and her shirt, that kind of thing. And that's all calculated by the computer. No, there's like almost no artistic.
It's all ray traced, and you would have to pick, like, okay, what's the specularity levels of these materials? What's the reflectivity?
Ray tracing's a bit of the older way of doing it. I think ray tracing's a fad. It's going to go to path tracing. Like we were talking about, even like the rendering time it takes. Like path tracing is so much more efficient than ray tracing. I'm pretty sure they've cut their workload into 1/5 of what it was, say, like 5-6 years ago. So it's come a long way with stuff like that. As far as Disney goes, I don't know how the other people are doing it, but I know Weta uses path tracing for their VFX stuff too.
Right.
It really does.
It's much more like a voxel type setup with path tracing.
Path tracing, voxels. Those are like the newer tools. I don't know what they're using now. There's probably
the hilarious thing is that was the old tools that you used, but the results from them were much more flat. And didn't have nearly as much of the effective lighting. You went to ray tracing because that was actually tracing every light you would get it, but the compute requirements for that were huge. And so you got innovation again on path tracing and voxels to get close enough to the effort you want for a lot less compute time.
And it's interesting because path tracing had existed before. We just didn't use it, I guess. I don't know. It was weird. I think just NVIDIA set up their cards for ray tracing, and that was it. That's what everyone used because fuck you, NVIDIA decided.
Well, I mean, prior to that, it was all CPU doing all the calculations. It wasn't there were no GPUs that were using for that, and that's why.
And you were talking like 2 to 3 days per frame for Monsters Inc., which is any shot with Sully in it is just like 10 times the cost per frame. It's just like, holy shit, was it worth it, guys? Like, it looks great.
So monotonous.
What's up, Eraserhead? Thanks for joining us. Think of this as like a comic book almost there, Chris. Like it's very like like you'll see some cheats. Like they'll use like rebounding light. They'll use a different light source. Like,
hey, we don't cheat.
But it's like this is a great 2D animation. I love it. They do a really good job on it.
Right, and the reason that they can cheat is that they understand how people see things. Right, you have to have a very strong understanding of how humans view, how their eyes work, how their brains process what they see, what draws that. Right, that's not just I can draw well. That's nice. Okay, now you're going to need another couple of years to figure out how to actually be effective doing this. Right,
I call it the Picasso effect, where you understand something so well, now you're allowed to break the rules.
Right.
Dude, have you just quick tangent, Picasso, when he was super young, guy was like brilliant. His life studies, anatomy, and all that was perfect. And then you see later on, once he understood how to break the rules, then he starts to do all that wiggly, scraggly line stuff that
and he lost his freaking mind.
But I mean, like, hey, it's a new thing.
Picasso used to keep a gun with blanks in it.
Yeah.
If he found you boring, he would just fire it at you.
Oh my god.
That honestly doesn't surprise me at all.
No, it doesn't surprise me at all.
From some of the shit I heard about that guy.
So getting back to this, like this is like Kate and Douglas, they're talking about the situation that's happening against Arasaka, and so they kind of set up a kind of like a trap, and the way they do it is they like what it says here, we'll tell them in the only language the city speaks. Which we get to the next scene, which is Faraday in his limo driving along, and we see a gang come up and start shooting up the limo, and so they're killing everyone inside the vehicle, and then Faraday starts firing back and starts killing them off. He's like, there's also like bending of bullets here.
Yeah, it's like smart bullets.
I was gonna ask if that was something in the game or
Yes.
It is in the game.
Yeah, the smart weapons are in the game. Well, it's a bit of a thing because like you need to get like some cyberware to get it to work at all. Then you have to find one, then you have to get ammo for it, and then you realize it's not actually as good as your normal pistol by the time you've done all this shit. So
very Dark Knight Returns looking thugs here.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
I mean, I gotta say though, like it reminded me of that character Ballistic, from Apex Legends, where he shoots his weapon and then the thing will follow you no matter what. And that's immediately what my mind went to when I saw that. It was cool. I like shit like that. Just the weirdness of that. I just was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, awesome. The interesting thing, I think the first time I saw smart bullets in a movie was Runaway. It was 1984 with Tom Selleck.
Oh my god, I love that movie.
Oh my god, Gene Simmons.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And Gene Simmons has, and then what's her butt from
Cynthia
from Wrath of Khan, and she was Sabek in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, what's her name?
She ended up getting fat like later in life or whatever.
Yeah, she was in Cheers.
Yeah, right.
Kirstie
Alley, right?
Yes.
So, but yeah, Gene Simmons has the smart bullets that can go around corners that they can seek individual targets and all that.
Yeah, as long as it's not Wanted, where they just flick the gun and it like goes around people.
What's up, CLS?
The remote control cars in that movie, and
Gene Simmons. or the octopeds that the spider bots.
The spider bots. That's what I remember the most.
I remember the blonde that was working with Tom Selleck. What's her name?
Yeah.
Oh, she was cute.
Yeah, she was his partner.
But just the way every single time that Gene Simmons says Ramsey in that movie.
So we see Faraday escape, and then he's talking to Militech, and he's talking to him about the contract, and upset with how everything's going. They're just like, well, too bad, because now we know that Faraday's the mole, and what we don't know is he's being watched by Arasaka Intel. And so they're basically saying, we're not giving you any money. We gave you got to, figure it out, basically in a nutshell. And Faraday's upset. And so we get to the next. Go ahead.
Couple of corrections. One, Faraday's not the mole. Faraday's the fixer. They know that there's someone who's getting into their system that is not the guy who blew off Evans's head. And they're trying to find who that is, and they figure, well, we'll go after the fixers that we know that work for Militech and see if we can shake that tree to get them to come to us and then help us find the person that's infiltrating their systems. So that's why they go after Faraday, but they also have others on that list. I'm sure they took hits on all of them to shake the trees. But the interesting thing about that is that the relationship of the Corpo security and counter intelligence groups is that they're clearly on a different level than anybody we've seen before.
Yeah.
Right. That we're used to from our crew's standpoint, that Faraday is, kind of this mysterious guy who has these connections, right? He's like top of the food chain from their standpoint. as far as how they get paid and how they get jobs and all that. They run into Tanaka, but he was just a hit job or whatever. Now we see people that just talk about Evans or Tanaka like they're just more cogs in the machine, that they are at a higher level, and they look at Faraday as just a scrub. That he says they're essentially scum, and we need to talk to them in the only way that this city understands, which is violence.
It's to add into what you were just saying, it is you're spot on, because it's just funny because throughout the show, these guys they do a lot of crime. The Edgerunners, they sit there and they break the law every step of the way. And anytime they hear like the police, whatever the term they coin them, they like shit bricks and run. They're like, no, we need to get the fuck out of here, because once they send them in, then they're done for. They can't.
When
last.
Max Tax shows up,
like you're out,
because they're like military grade crazy.
Yeah, and with these people, you can feel, like you just said, you get to these guys, and you're like, these are the guys you don't want to fuck with. You don't want to be in the same room with them. You don't want to be on the radar. And, now it's the first time you're seeing it, and you're like, oh, damn, dude, something big is about to happen.
Yeah, everybody we've seen is essentially like pieces on the board. These are the guys that move the pieces on the board.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Getting back to what we were talking about earlier, like this is a cheat right here, Chris. Like the light source is like head on, and you see the shading of the nose and the cheeks and everything.
Yeah,
you wouldn't see that like just based on the light that's coming right at him. You wouldn't see that. It's just a way to show depth to the face. That's like a comic book style.
Yeah, there's really no rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah,
it just looks so cool.
It does.
That's all it is, and that's all you need, man. That's all you need is a little creativity.
It's a great visual accent.
I've still been curious the past 7 episodes. What's the practical usage of having 2 extra eyeballs?
Everybody asks that every episode he's in. We all think it looks stupid, and there's no practice.
Well, but interestingly, there's when he's sitting in the vehicle before the hit happens, his bodyguard, I guess, is sitting beside him, has like 8. But they're not eyes; they're just too. Like little like lenses on his face, right?
Yeah, he only lets you in his gang if you have a stupid eye set up.
Yeah, you got it. Like, 2 eyes bad.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, nice.
No biclopses in this gang.
No.
Well, there's always bigger fish, man. There's always somebody up higher on the food chain.
Yeah, no, he doesn't listen to stereo. It's all quadraphonic for him.
I did like that scene where he escapes up though. At the end.
With the explosion.
Yeah, I was like, how do you do that? Some Batman shit right there.
He uses ninja skills, man. He threw that smoke bomb and then I'm out.
See, these two talking there, like they talk about him like he's a little, okay, maybe not a mole, but he is like gives out information here and there for the right price.
Oh, right. He's the fixer that they don't know who this Edgerunner is that keeps getting into their systems, but they know that person would be working for a fixer, because the corpos don't talk directly with the Edgerunners, so you always kind of go through these middlemen. So they're just shaking the tree for the middlemen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but just the way that they're talking down to Faraday is surprising. You wouldn't.
Right, it just shows how high up the food chain they are.
Yeah. So now we get to Lucy and she's with David, and he's not in bed.
My heart.
He's zoned right out. He's going through flashbacks. He's kind of, I wouldn't say he's in full cyber psychosis. I'd say he's like in the beginnings of cyber psychosis here, where he's just kind of zoning out. He's shaking of the hand, the nausea, a couple of things. I think Ripperdoc even mentioned it later.
He asked him.
Do we know how long the time jump is here?
6 months, I think. It was 5 to 6 months from when David was like with Maine. I think it was
when Maine went out.
Yeah, I think it was like 4 to 5 months at that point.
Yeah.
Because like David has taken over. He's the leader of the gang.
Well, that was last episode though, so
Yeah.
this is time even further because like he's even more chromed up than he was even in that.
Yeah, I would say like another month, like
yeah,
maybe,
or
yeah.
at the very least. I mean, he's got like squared up nips.
Literally.
He got like vents on his chest.
Yeah, but the thing is that remember in the prior episode, he was already talking to Doc about getting the new muscle enhancers and all that, right? So it wouldn't have taken long once he got those to beef up to this level.
Well, it's
Incoming.
also too with
Zach's. What's up, brother? Sorry, Zach.
No, I was just gonna say it's also too. You notice in the beginning, the dynamic in the gang, they're all fun. They're they're having a grand time, fucking shit up, and then you progress through the show, and time passes, and they're just kind of going through the motion. It's no longer like a kick to these people. It's just like, all right, let's just get the next gig done and go back to whatever the fuck we were doing. And I don't, David takes no joy out of this anymore. He's just so numb to the point where he just wants to, spend time with Lucy and, just drift off into space.
But he has his responsibilities that he's
the
on,
responsibility of taking over
I think he's
gang.
addicted. I think
It's-
he's addicted.
Yeah, he is. That's what it seems like. But he's also fantasizing about leaving.
It's almost like a bodybuilder, like taking steroids. He has to get more juice into him and get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I think there's kind of a competing thing there with the fact is that once you start chroming, you tend to just keep piling it on, right? But the other thing is that he very specifically talks about kind of the responsibility and the burden that he carries both from Maine and his mother. Now, how much of that is him justifying, or is this kind of his inbuilt guilt about what's happened to them, and that he needs to kind of carry through their vision of what they wanted of him? Who knows? But very clearly he's getting on the ragged edge now.
Yeah, it's a good character arc too. How many characters, fiction, books, comics, whatever, thief movies, like they start off having fun. It's all a good time. After some time passes, like, damn, I'm not having fun anymore. Now I feel like I'm either addicted to the lifestyle or I feel obligated to lifestyle and I can't get out. I'm stuck. And this poor guy, he's actually physically stuck. He can't go back to the old ways he was before.
Yeah. And they're actually, like even Lucy says, like, lighten up on the chrome.
Yeah,
and just take time off, and he can't.
He's like, I can't because I've got to take care of these other people, right?
I just do want to do a quick shout out to Gooch, Gooch,
Zach. Right,
way to go!
Hi.
Mind blown.
R.I.P. Gooch. This virtual Gooch that
say,
we have here just isn't quite the same. But we're
I also want to say what's up to my boy Sammy 3-Pete.
Yeah.
Zach's. I hope you get better, brother. Like you, man. I want you healthy, for crying out loud.
Yeah, don't die like Gooch did.
Yeah, I died on the stream the other night.
That was pretty shocking.
Yes. Oh, that was awful. Oof, that was
and then clearly you were glitching. This new animatronic Goose that we're watching now was glitching because it didn't understand his left from his right yesterday. And
I mean,
I'm hoping these bugs are getting worked out.
I mean, the problem with Zach's, he just needs to stop fucking chroming up, man. That's
but the thing is, he can't, right? Because he's got these burdens.
He's addicted to the life now.
Everyone's shouting themselves out in the chat. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Na says you could always strip down on some of the chrome to help, but like you said, it's addictive. Yeah, he's on a mission, and I think his mission is just to die. And yes, Nos, there is a comment. Where is it? Let me get it here.
Well, maybe it's like McDonald's where they put something in it that makes it addicting.
Yeah.
Maybe that's all part of Arasaka's grand plan is to make people addicted to Chrome, so they just become their subservience.
It's hard for me to completely say if he is actually addicted to that lifestyle, or if it's more of the fact that, the whole, like what you guys just said earlier, where he's trying to make up for something to live in Maine's name, to honor him by carrying on the responsibility, to do that because like the Edgerunners is his family and he wants to do the best he can to keep that family going because that's all he has. And even though it's it is easy but it is a tough decision for him to just let go and no longer be in control of it, and just like kind of like, let's go to the moon, Lucy.
You know,
Like,
Yeah,
happens-
I mean, he has
happens-
that burden of responsibility.
It happens a lot in real life by gangs. A lot of gang members, it's amazing how in their 30s and 40s they want to performing or just getting out of the lifestyle. It's different being a blood or crip when you're 21 versus 45.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. The only person that would know this is Nos, because he knows, like, we cuddle when we watch anime, like, so
Makes sense.
he would know
Oh,
this.
that's
Yeah,
cute.
it makes sense.
did you just
Totally
say
makes sense.
cuddle?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
I
Yeah,
just
no,
want to know I heard that right. Like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
no, we cuddle.
Well, also Nos was involved in building the replacement Gooch after Gooch died. So
Yeah.
I mean, he's very intimate with the hardware.
Yeah,
Believe it or
What
not,
the
Gooch
fuck,
is
man?
the. Believe it or not, Gooch is the little spoon. So
Oh, yeah.
nope. And then we see Lucy having a conversation. Like, this is what we were just talking about, having a conversation with David, and he talking about going to the moon, and it cost like, yeah, well, Minucci's.
250,000 eddies.
Only a quarter
Yeah.
million. It's not much.
Yeah, and so she notices his left hand start to shake as she starts to walk away. Oh, I went a little too far, and she starts to get concerned, and
Yeah, I'm not that fast.
and
man.
noticing
Slow
these
down.
and then we get to the Faraday, the man himself, talking with Douglas about working out an information, and Douglas basically, in a nutshell, says, like, if you can get us more information, we'll wipe the slate clean of the debt and we'll pay you accordingly. And Faraday, he jumps on board, and then Douglas says there's one or two conditions. He says we must eliminate anyone who or any or all persons that are aware of he calls it cyber skeleton, which is this Andavestan existence, and anyone that he wants to find out who is actually the runner that's causing all the problem, and has, I guess, talk of ties to the runner that he kind of puts a bounty on the runner for that, is taking out these people.
Yeah, you get full price if you bring them in alive, and half if you just bring the head.
Yeah.
yeah,
And so this conversation happens in this this little cafe here.
fun side note: this is the same cafe, I do believe, in the main story where you meet up with Takamura during the main quest line.
Oh,
really?
shit.
In the game.
Yeah. But he asked him to turn the TV up, and he's like, "F you, get out of my cafe." Or diner, whatever the hell it is.
And I heard a ping, and just like that, we're at 7. BAGFACE, what's up, brother? How are you? What up?
Bags.
What's going
How's
on,
it
man?
going?
You know when to show up.
I came at the perfect moment.
Yeah.
Wait.
He's like, somebody say blue nips.
Yes.
It's the best.
How's the arm, buddy?
Fucking brutal, man. It's so
Is it
bad.
still that
I
bad?
still can't really use my right hand, but we're
Oh,
we're
that
kicking.
sucks.
We're doing it.
What a baby.
Oh, he just revealed he's mirrored.
Here we have a conversation between Kiwi and Lucy. Obviously, Lucy's telling Kiwi the concerns about David, and basically back and forth, and he has to step up, be a leader, and he's starting to show signs of possibly being cyberpsychosis, and she doesn't say that. She kind of hints at it. Kiwi's just sitting back, letting the nips hang out and smoking. And then we see Lucy. She unplugs, or does she jack in? I think she jacks in here.
No,
doesn't
she unplugs from.
she unplugs. Or she unplugs. So Kiwi is ending the conversation with Lucy, and next little moment we see is Mr. Faraday at the door ringing the.
But there's definitely some foreshadowing in this conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jay.
So Kiwi says, well, no, Lucy says, yeah, I never trust anybody in Night City. And then she
Yes.
says, Kiwi's, you're the one that taught me that. And he's like, oh, did I? Yeah, I guess I did.
Yes.
Right. Okay. I
And
didn't
then we
quite
get.
catch that originally.
Oh, I can't.
Then
find it.
Zangief.
I was gonna say the only person knows that was just like Zangief.
Yeah. And then we get this, like where Faraday shows up to the door, indicating that she's acting as a mole, like getting information and giving it to Faraday. So Nos. So yeah, like there's a lot of backstabbing in this, and like we said from the get-go, this place is like you're doing anything you can to survive in this city, and it's like this episode is evident of that. Like it's a lot of politics and backstabbing and just trying to get ahead and to survive the next day. So then after this scene we get to David, him and Rebecca are having a shootout with another gang, and or rival gang, and everything's going well until David kind of freezes here when he has the gun right up to this woman's head, and he freezes, and then he starts to have
she's showing fear and like shaking,
and this like just throws David into a frozen state, and then Rebecca just rescues him and just shoots the lady in the head, and then she just starts yelling at David like, yeah, what the fuck was that? She starts getting irritated with David, and she obviously knows that she's seeing things from David that's concerning, and then we get to the scene where Falco drops off David, and they start to pull away, and then Rebecca's like, no, I want to get out too. And Falco lets her out. She runs off to David, and then Kiwi says that she wants to get dropped off as well. So like Falco's like, oh, I guess we're not, going to party. And we get to Rebecca talking with David, and she's kind of, telling him that he needs to, chill out and, take it easy, remove some of the cyberware. He needs to get lighter on that as well. And she's like, what? Yeah, here it is right here. What the fuck was that today? You froze. And
Hey, Gooch, I have to ask, did anyone on the panel, I thought this was maybe a simulation, because when Rebecca shot her, didn't we see she shot her 3 different times mid-air, and she's spinning and spinning?
Yeah, she's like playing with the body.
Is this for real? Is this a fucking joke?
They in the danger room.
Yeah.
The whole physics like hitting someone 4 times in a shotgun in midair and they're still floating to the ground. I'm like, oh shit.
I mean, Rebecca does enjoy her violence, so it's understandable.
She does, and she's throwing some heavy guilt onto David. Like I put my life in your hands daily, and she mentions it a couple times. Like you need to go lighter. Like you're
she's expressing concern about him, and he's just trying to blow it off, and she's like, no, really,
he's doing exactly
understand
what May did.
Right. And she's like, understand that it's not just you, I have to put my life in your hands, so I have an active concern, but that also triggers his sense of responsibility, right? That it's just me, it's just affecting me, fuck it, I can take it, or I can if I die, whatever. She's like, nah, that we're a team, this is how this goes, right? We look out for each other, we depend on each other, and we care about you.
Yeah, which he doesn't listen to at all.
No.
In fact, it seems to make him worse, if anything.
And she says it right here. I can't see you end up like him. And
her brother and the guy that was crazy that shot him.
And so she's showing her concerns, and then David kind of walks off, and then we see Lucy. She's jacked in, and she mentions here that Sokka is still sending in runners into the this is the dark net, right? Or the
old net.
The old net, yeah. That she's going into
the light net.
Yeah. Well, she's in there and she's, trying to find files and information, and she's seeking and killing anyone who's involved. And
This is
so,
the reveal that, like, I think, no, it was last episode that it was revealed that she was doing shit on the side.
Right.
So this is just her continuing her shit. So, all right, let me ask you this. So the fact that she was pursuing this shit on her own, is she the one that really triggered this? Like, for them to be like, all right, we need to fucking, like, find this rat now because this is getting to be a serious thing? Or if she chose to do nothing, because when she went in that room for the first time when Maine was around, they're trying to, like, when that Chinese guy or a Japanese guy, who was the father of that brat, and they were trying to enter his mind, and she found those files which spooked her like crazily. Could they just been like, okay, she chose to do nothing, or they were gonna find them anyway? It didn't matter.
I think that she when she went into Tanaka's head and saw some things, she realizes that they're still mining the old net, and they are putting together something that is dangerous. And she wants to stop that, but she does not want to get the rest of the team involved because they would be out of their league.
So no
I
matter
think
what,
she's-
it was inevitable.
Right. I think
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and it may be a greater danger than just to them. Right. It may be a much broader threat, but she feels that she's the only one who can deal with it and does not want to drag them into it.
So then we see David kind of zoning out here. He's back in the apartment and he's having flashbacks of what he's experienced, especially the last one of the last the one where he was in the lab.
Yeah, at Arasaka.
And this is the flashback at the Arasaka labs where he's sneaking in, finds the director, shoots the director right in the head. There you go, there, blue collar. That shot right there with the head.
Oh, that was so sick, dude. The fucking
Brutal.
guns. I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, they just kept stacking upon each other.
Yeah, but wait, there's more.
loved
Yeah.
that, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On top of
Oh,
the
yeah.
sound design too, the sound you can hear the squishing of the guns coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh, they
Yeah.
dude, if I was a little kid and I saw that for the first time, that would have scared the shit out of me.
And
Yeah, and then when he's shooting, you can hear the metallic ricochet, like he's hitting the metal and that's coming out of him.
Yeah. And David is he's getting cyberpsychosis here. He's losing it, and you can hear Kiwi screaming. And then this is the part right here where he confronts the woman that wanted to leave and go be with her son, and he just shoots her. Like he can't face it, and shoots her in the head. And obviously he's having his own flashback, so there's guns coming out. And
Doesn't he start to see her start to morph as well?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
it was right
Yeah.
there. It was just, oh wow, that was a good stop.
Oh,
right there.
there you go.
Yeah,
Nice.
good shot.
Just
Yeah,
small
that's-
details too. Once he shoots him in the head, you also see like blood squirts, like pss, 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 pss,
Yeah,
pss.
yeah. Well, yeah. We see
Yeah.
the arteries still pumping.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's pretty good for Evans.
And there's Kiwi still calling, like, talk to me, David, talk to me. Like she's like wondering what's going on, and he's not even really responding. And then he just
Glitches
finally
out.
he comes back, and then he just kind of runs out, and he's telling Lucy all this, and she's showing her concerns, and you see, or he's not saying that to Lucy, he's just standing there just like going through it, and she's just watching him, and then he just passes out.
Yeah, he's talking to
before.
himself, and then
and then he wakes up, and then we get with the Ripperdoc kind of working on him, asking him questions, like about the symptoms and everything. Lucy's there. She obviously brought him there, and he's just like, you should have come sooner. Like there, shaky hands, teasing his nausea, usual
Oh, I
suspect.
love that scene.
And his hands like
Yeah.
this. It's like that's freaky.
Take my fucking money.
They had
Yeah.
so much fun with this character.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, this character is absolutely Banoonies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Banoonies. Yeah, that's a first.
Yeah, a great character. I like the voice for the character as well.
Yeah.
And I love, again, the color tones just hit these scenes perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, they do it so well. Like
Those
the
pink
nice
highlights.
vibrant, the pink highlights. Like that's just awesome. So yeah, he's basically just telling David like he should have come sooner. And David all of a sudden realizes like he's kind of going too
That's
far,
cool, dude.
and he's demanding like stronger meds from him. And he
It's like
grabs.
it's like you're asking me for magic pixie dust. Like, dude, you've gone too far. You're past what drugs can fix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just like a roid rage, he kind of freaks out and he says, like, I didn't come here for your golf jokes. Like he just freaks out and loses it. And Killer Ripperdoc is just sitting there, being choked out. And then Lucy just calls out David's name. Oh, perfect timing right there. And he snaps back and lets go of Ripperdoc, and actually starts to apologize after Ripperdoc gives him the meds that he needs.
Yeah, and he's like, "Don't worry about it. You're gonna be dead in 24 hours anyway."
Yeah.
9 days.
Well, he says a line here that I love. He says, "Another turn for the next dreamer."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like he's gone through it so many times with these.
Ripperdoc knows the score. He knows knows that that everybody comes in new and I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna do this or whatever. Yeah, okay, kid. I mean, I know how this ends, right? But he talks about you started out selling XPDs, just hustling XPDs, and then look at you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's when it all started
right
to
here.
really become clear. Like,
So
these
no
guys,
matter what, sorry.
yeah, like this crew isn't unique or special. They're not gonna like change the world. They're just another crew out there doing these jobs for these fixers, getting screwed over by Arasaka again, because that's how it always goes down. And you're watching them become one of those jobs that another, up and comer is. They're going to be tasked with finding these guys for whatever fixer, and it all is manifest in that line, which is great.
Yeah, and that's why Bag was talking last episode about the you really want to kind of connect with these characters and see them progress or whatever. That's the reason that this exists, is to show the slice of life of what's going on in Night City, and these guys ain't special. There's going to be another one that looks just like them, right? That's going to replace them up. There's 100 or 1,000 crews already operating, and they're all going to get turned over because it always ends bloody.
And that's what he says to him too. He goes, go be that legend or whoever the fuck you think.
Whatever it is you mercs do.
Gemma has a good question. Do we have any sense of the time span from beginning to end? I'm going to say, because this all happens within a year, because this is 2076, and then the game is 2077. You're a different character. But I would say this probably happens within like a 6 to 8 month, maybe 9 month period.
Yeah,
that would be my guess.
We don't get exact numbers though. I don't think. It just sort of hops around.
He does give we do get information. I forget what episode. It was a couple of shows ago where we find out. I think it was when they were.
We find out prior to the big time jump after Maine.
Yeah.
Right.
And but that's the only time we get any information about like time.
Right.
And I want to talk about like these colors. Like this is brilliant. Like the light coming from the room across the floor, and the pinks.
that magenta highlight gives so much depth.
Mm-hmm.
Just contrasting off the blue on the other side, it makes it look 3D, which is really good.
It's just really well done, and the light from the back there too, highlighting a lot of stuff. It's like again those little cheats where they highlight certain areas that wouldn't be highlighted. They would actually just like that chair would be just all black, but they add the magenta there just to give the the details. And
it wouldn't even make sense because it's also on the doctor too, and he's behind like a bookshelf. Like they're
it's beautiful. Go ahead. Who was that?
No, I was just gonna ask. So is David irreversible at this point? It's too late.
No, they're saying if he chromes down, you know, they're all so far. 3 people in this episode said like you need to take some of that load off. So I'm not thinking so, but like we said, he's so addicted, he's not taking it
So
off.
he could have saved his life, but instead he's just like, nope, no. And because
Or even if it didn't save his life, he could have prolonged it, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So then there's the flip side is would it save his life? Because then where would he be? Where, you know, in the food chain, right? Is he able to do jobs if he's, you know, chromed back? Is he going to still have his crew? Or are they going to chase up to somewhere else? Does it? I mean, this is the rat race that you're stuck in with this, right? That if you're a normie just trying to live normie life, that ain't happening. You know, unless you just work for Corpo or whatever. But the minute, you know, you're stepping outside and kind of blazing your own trail, okay, well then that's a very Darwinian process, and you live fast, die young.
What's up, Boosh? Thanks for joining us, Boosh. And we're starting to get a flood of people in here. We got Sassy. Oh, I'm so sorry I'm late to the party. You don't have to apologize, Sassy.
Yes.
And look at this big hairy son of a bitch just joining the crowd. Hello, you sexy people. Welcome there, Cannoli. What's going on there, brother? So yeah, I mean, like, yeah, even if he like, you know, shedded some of the cyberware, I think mentally he's so fractured that he's just like he I don't think he could, you know, function like even if he unloaded some of the cyberware. I think he would just be like, he would need rehab, which doesn't exist in this world really, unless you're a corp. So like, I mean,
yeah, but more importantly, what are his options?
Well, yeah, like he still lives in, well, I guess he lives in the high apartment, but like he's not going to be making the money if he goes onto that.
Right. And oh, by the way, he's probably made more than a few enemies, and you know
that too.
Oh yeah.
Look, he's got a reputation. That's a dangerous thing to have.
Yep. I don't think there really is any coming back. I almost have a conspiracy about it, like the Arasaka Chrome, because like they control everything ultimately, right? Whether or not it's their label on the tech that these guys are buying is, you know, it's sort of irrelevant. But like, why would they pump this into the market that could potentially build someone so powerful that it could rival them to some extent, or at least become a problem? They wouldn't. They would make it so like if you overdo it on Chrome, you would go cyber psycho, you know, no matter what.
Oh,
so that's sort of like their fail safe.
Yeah,
it's fixed against them.
Yeah,
I like that.
I mean, there's a counter argument that the problem with chroming up and trying to do that is that the individual is not powerful enough to compete with the resources of a corporation. And so in order for an individual to try and at least level the playing field, they have to chrome up. They have to enhance themselves. The problem is that they can never chrome up enough to actually be able to compete hardcore with the corpos, because the corpos just have this huge amount of resource. And so this is the thing about cyberpunk in general as a genre, is it's about dehumanizing the meaninglessness of the individual, and more the systems, right? The corporations, the different power players going, and the individual person is just irrelevant.
I think.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd argue too, like it's beneficial in another way, where even if they're not putting like cyber psychosis, they're not building it into the I don't know, kits or whatever people are getting. It's kind of the same idea as like cops in the US are probably not going to stop people from getting a lot of guns, because the more guns that the population has, the more cool toys the cops get to have. It kind of like justifies it in itself, where if like the corporations are getting government funding, it's kind of a built-in defense for them to be like, well, you know, all these people out on the streets are very dangerous, so we need a lot of your money to make sure that like all the people are suited up enough to handle all this kind of.
Yeah. So in this world, the corporations are the government.
Yeah. I guess.
Right. You know, and so, but again, what you have is essentially this vicious cycle of somebody chromes up to a certain level, there is now incentives for somebody else to exceed that, right? And then the corporations themselves, they are trying to maximize the efficiency of their individual units, right? So they're going to chrome them, but they're going to chrome them to a certain degree, and not take them overboard unless they've got infinite resources, which at a certain level you don't have, right? But at least on the meat level, the street level people or whatever, there's always somebody new coming in, which is what Ripper's, saying that,
Yeah.
You'll be here and gone. Guess what? There'll be another one to replace you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a fantastic business model if you think about it. Like,
Oh, it's a great business model.
like you keep your underclass busy at the same time you're squeezing every penny out of them because they're competing to get more chrome than the other guy, and at the end of the day they just their head just explodes.
Yeah.
So they
Well,
don't
and they're
become a big
disposable
enough
assets
problem
for the
to-
corporations as well, right? Because the one thing that the corporations don't do is openly engage in going against another corporation, right? It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, it's all
corp.
espionage.
What it is it's all cutouts, third party. Here, let's have these thugs, these runners do this because there's plausible deniability. Yeah, we both know that we're doing that, but it's not we're uniformed and going at each other, because then neither one of us want that, right? So
Right.
you just take advantage of these people at the low level, and let them be useful for a certain amount of time, and then they burn themselves out.
Yeah, they're like unknowing subsidiaries basically that work sort of like for peanuts compared to what it would cost you to do it internally.
Right, it's just contractors, right?
Yeah.
I contract you for a job, and if you're not there, there'll be somebody else that I can contract for a job.
Yeah, and the added benefit of they're going to buy more chrome off of you with those earnings at the end of the day as well. So it's just
Or steal it in the case of the Sindebistan, right?
or steal it, which is no skin off their teeth, because the double effectiveness of their
Yeah, the thing is,
Chrome.
they are looking for, and it's one of the reasons that they were interested in David, is that they don't want, especially for their own team members, to go cyberpsychosis and burn out. So they're very interested in why David can handle the Sandebistan when they've had their own crew not be able to do it, and so
Yeah.
they want to study him to make their people more effective.
makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Well, and this is pretty much the end of the episode where
No way.
Lucy confronts David, and pleading with him to, scale back with the cyberware. He's kind of starting to lose it. She's concerned, and we see like they're both concerned about each other. David wants to know what's going on with her. He wants her to come back with the crew. She's not ready yet. She says she has to do something first, and it's like David said, well, maybe we need to take time apart, and she doesn't want that. She gets upset, and
He's kind of, there's a bit of a blackmail going on there, because she's like, look, you really need to dechrome, and it's almost like he's saying, well, if you come back, maybe that's an option on the
Yeah.
table.
yeah,
But she's got a different, set. Again, I think she's still trying to protect everyone, but then, okay, he does it. And then his response is, well, I've got these promises I made to Maine and my mom.
and then he actually admits that he killed someone and lets her know like what's going on. He talks about the woman in the lab. He killed a mom, and it's affecting him, and he kind of does the male thing. Well, maybe we just need time apart. And she's like, no, that's not what I want. That's like, I would just be there when because she also gets hit with the old net, and tells David that she needs to go, but like, please be there when I get back. Just wait for me. We can talk this out. And David's kind of left in the dark here, and she's just telling him like she needs to go somewhere, and she's obviously going in to collect data in the old net, and she looks around. David's gone, and then we see Lucy on top of the building scanning this character here, this net runner here, and she kind of sneaks in, and she's going to assassinate him, but it's a trap by these characters right here. She gets zapped out, and it's a trap by Faraday and none other than Kiwi.
Yep.
What up, bitch?
Dun dun dun.
Set up and payoff, baby. Set up and payoff.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Great episode. There was a lot of information in this episode. You get to see the corrupt world of Night City. I really enjoyed this episode, to be honest.
Yeah.
If it was
It's got a
anybody
very
that was
noir
trying
feel.
anyone, it would have been Kiwi, bro. That bitch was always shady.
So the thing is that it's not a matter of being shady, right? So Kiwi brought her in to the crew, and when the crew was strong and everything was going right, Kiwi's just fine. But she sees that David is starting to head down the same pathway that Maine did. She very much put out a hey, Lucy, why don't you come back and help? And Lucy's like, nah, not right now. This and that, whatever. Right. So Kiwi is kind of weighing her options and looking at from a survival standpoint. We're starting to be in a weak position. And then Faraday comes with an offer. She starts to stay with a strong horse. So there's always an undercurrent in these relationships about power, and she is stuck with a crew that's on the downside of that power dynamic. They're no longer either holding their own or moving up, and you get weak and you get got in this world.
Yes.
So it's about time to change horses, right? Because her job at the end of the day, these are all people that their job is to stay alive.
Yep. I mean,
Yeah.
like the move makes sense. It's just, from the perspective of, David and Lucy are our main characters. It feels like an evil move, but when you step back, it really isn't, because, they've done this to other people.
Yep.
Getting up to this point, they've tricked people, they've done petty thievery, killed people, whatnot. So, it's like that scene from I don't know if you ever seen Peaky Blinders, when Elfie's like, what line am I supposed to have crossed? How many brothers, sons, fathers have you killed?
Yeah.
Now it's your son. I'm supposed to give a shit.
Right.
Well, that was episode 8. That one was titled "Stay." Obviously, at the end, she's talking about staying with David. Let's kind of quickly go around and just get everyone's general thoughts of this episode. So I'll start off with Amateur. Go ahead there, brother. Let me know what you think of tonight's episode.
Yeah, I mean, this episode's fine. It's not the best. It's not the worst. I actually got confused and thought we were doing the next episode today, which I think is a little bit of a mess. But this one's pretty good. It's got a noir feel. We get a couple character reveals. I do think up to this point, David's sort of like breakdown is more of like a good tension device than it is like taking away and like being annoying. Whereas in the next episode, I feel like it's getting a bit annoying rather than being like valuable tension. The Kiwi reveal, they sort of hid that well enough. At the same time, they did set it up, which is always good when that's executed well. Yeah, other than that, animation quality still solid. Voice acting still solid, although I do find his name is escaping me right now.
Esposito.
I do find he overacts in this.
Yeah, this episode in particular.
Yeah.
It was.
But other than that, like, everyone's really solid. So, I mean, if I had to score it, I'd probably give it like 7 or 8 out of 10. There's really nothing that wrong with it. The next episode's a lot worse, but I do enjoy this. Appreciate this one.
What's up, Hypno? Thanks for joining us, brother. I appreciate you.
Hypnotic.
Yeah, my brother. Sammy, your general thoughts of tonight's episode?
I thought this one was a banger. I'm gonna give it like an 8.5. And yeah, the art was on point. It just a lot of fun, and it sets up, you saw that happen with Maine, and I really liked Maine, and it's a shame to see David walk down these same paths when, you know, as much as he looked up to Maine, there was plenty of examples for him to do better. And it just shows you just kind of the dangers of getting like caught up in that life. And you appreciate that. And it was like, it's a trope you see in a lot of like gangster films. It was like that, you know, they never have happy endings, and you know, this is essentially a gangster film. This is, so you know, we're starting to see, you know, the problems of living a criminal lifestyle. And I mean, and it's in a fun futuristic way, but the message is still the same: crime doesn't pay.
Yeah.
I'm Batman.
Well,
Stay out of trouble.
Bagface,
The more you know.
I'm curious to get your thoughts there, bro.
Yeah, I think this is where it kind of loses me. I feel like we just miss so much. Like it's all in there, but I guess like I wasn't paying close enough attention to pick up on Kiwi's motivations and everything that kind of encircles the decisions that are made. But this is where the show kind of took a turn for me that I was like, wait, what? Like, okay, I guess it almost feels like we missed the second act of this story, or you know what I mean? Or like we missed a third act and now we're in the fourth act. It just feels so disjointed at this point. Still entertaining though. I feel like this is the last episode that I was like, I like seeing him, like David and Lucy's interactions in this episode, and David still dealing with the trauma of his mother, and like there's still remnants of David in there, so it's still interesting to me. But yeah, I don't know. I enjoy it. I enjoyed this episode enough. I guess it's just sad. I hate being sad. Oh, I like David. I don't want to watch him go crazy. You know?
Yeah.
So
I like David too. Yeah.
Yeah, it bums me out a bit, but yeah. Sorry, did we do ratings?
You can if you want. You don't have to, but like you can. I know.
Yeah,
Go
I'll
ahead.
stick with Sammy and just say stay out of crime. Don't do crime. Do drugs, not crime.
nice.
Oh, no, it says I wasn't paying close attention where the show took a turn.
Like I wasn't paying close enough attention to the side characters, I guess.
Kiwi,
Where like
yeah.
I'm so focused on like David and Lucy, and like what's going on with them that like I missed a lot of subtleties in the rest of the cast, I guess.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Blue collar.
Yeah, I know. So we're not doing rating system, but I would still go a 9 out of 10 only because the entire scene between like Goodwin was saying with him and Doc, just breaking down the kid, been down this road 1,000 times before. You're not special, you think you are. And David from episode 1, he's been, you know, special. He has a high tolerance, but we knew it was going to happen. It just, now we're finally seeing it. We're seeing the addiction, the whole psychosis, and even he tells Lucy, you know, basically, I can't stop. She said, okay, you have a higher tolerance than most people. We established that, but you're still human. And like even no matter how much drugs you get, meds you take, whatever doctors, you're still a human being. And it's like anything, people have different tolerances to drugs and alcohol, but eventually somebody's going to OD. And it's one thing talking about it, and we're seeing the slow decline. But this is, to me, the episode where we see him, because in his mind, it's like, I'm killing bad guys. These are hits. For the first time, I just killed an innocent woman. And the first time out of all these episodes, now it's like really hitting them. We're like, wow, I just murdered somebody. How do I deal with that? But then I can't stop. I'm like Goodwin was saying, but if you're not at the top of your game in this world, the second you start slowing down, now it's just blood in the water for all the other cyberpunk.
Yeah.
So now, yeah, he's stuck where it's like he could, physically speaking, like you said, he could go back. He has a high tolerance. He may be able to get some rehab, but then he's already so fucking embezzled, whatever, into this fucking crime world that if he does, he's screwed. So either way, he's got a death sentence. If he stops, he's dead. If he keeps going, he's dead. So what's he do?
That's good.
Yeah, that chosen one tolerance thing, whatever that would have given him in safety, he just uses it as an excuse to, you know, double down and take more, do more.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
it's like,
he's
damn,
just-
dude. I've
at
watched
this
people do that
point-
with actual drugs, and it's just like, holy shit, okay.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. At this point, he's gonna go out with a bang, like, because he knows his numbers is up at this point. He's like, fuck it, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go for the big one. And yeah, and that's how I take it when I see this episode.
Power slave, baby. Power slave. So yeah, Mr. Emperor Goodwin, your thoughts?
So I agree with Blue Collar on this one. That I think there's a few things. One is this is it's probably more depressing than any of the other episodes thus far, mostly because this is really where the reality of life in Night City shows itself in, you know, Red and Claw and Tooth, right? That you have, you know, they see the degradation that's going on with David. David has these burdens that he's taken on responsibility wise, right? And they all, to one degree or another, I think Rebecca's probably the least aware of it because of the lack of maturity and, you know, understanding what's going on. But David knows that to dechrome puts them all in danger. Kiwi is the most experienced of any of them. She's brought Lucy is second essentially, and Kiwi's the one that brought Lucy in. And there's a reason she's lived this long. She understands the dynamics of this world and the life they've chosen. And I love Doc, you know, really being the you know, kind of the narrator of what's going on, where he's like, you know, you're gifted, you did all that stuff, but that doesn't mean you don't have limits. And here's your dose. You're not going to need another one because I already see the cyberpsychosis and I know how this ends because you're not willing to do that. No, by the way, there'll be another one coming right after you, probably harvesting that Sandebiston off of you and then coming up and showing up at my place looking to chrome up and step in and start the wheel again, right? So this is there's a, you know, as Bag's like, well, I don't want to be sad. Well, this is dystopia. So dystopia, you know, kind of comes with the meal, but the brutality of that life. And again, that we saw, we really get a glimpse of a food chain level that's higher than we've ever seen before, right? And you just realize it still goes up from there, right? It's just that our characters that we've been following, there's kind of a limited world that they operate in. And when the Eye of Sauron from that higher level casts its gaze on you, you're pretty fucked at that point. So, I mean, this one, I think from just a you know, the better fleshing out of the characters as they have to operate in this world. I get this like an 8.5. 9, but I think 8.5 is probably better.
Yeah. And of course we'll get to Zach's here, or Zach right away here. But for
Zach,
me,
do you need me to filibuster longer? I can. I mean, you know.
No, guys, you
You
were
can do
giving
it.
me a good time. Keep going.
yeah.
Keep
So
going.
for me, I think of this episode. I think of the boy who cries wolf. That trope where he's warned of, you know, telling lies, and he's given the warnings of what he's doing there. David was given the warnings all throughout the series, but instead of being fearful of the wolf, like Peter being fearful of the wolf, David embraces death. Like he's on a path of like he's on a mission. There's no retreat, no surrender. He's just moving forward. And so that's the big difference with David and in this series. The relationship between David and Lucy is an interesting one. They're very they're distant yet, but they're like really close. Like the communication I think is like not fully there yet, and I think the trust isn't fully there yet. But yet they're very meshed together, and they want to, like, David wants everything to be normal, and so does she, but they just can't make that leap.
They both have a savior complex, and
Yeah.
they're trying to save each other. But the problem is that that in order to protect the other one, they're keeping things from each other, which
Yes.
is actually driving them apart and also
Yeah.
driving them to their own destruction.
Exactly. Which is interesting, and plus all the information we get throughout this episode, we see more like Sammy, you mentioned espionage, and be kind of like behind the scenes, how information gets passed and how things get set up, how obviously how the corporals use the gangbangers and to do the dirty work. And so I like this episode. And then of course the ending was great, seeing Kiwi and Faraday there at the end, which is throws you right off. So I would agree 8.5 for this episode. I liked it. Because the next 2 episodes are very fast paced, and it kind of goes off the rails a little bit in the last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see these, because I have not skipped ahead and watched other episodes. I'm kind of consuming in real time, so I'm interested to see if I agree with you guys on these next ones.
I think you will.
Going off the rails.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's action packed. You get introduced to another character, which is cool. So yeah, it's gonna be an awesome ride.
Does this one set that up in some way? Because for most of these, we start out and, like, I mean, if you think about the story and what we're shown, the camera is focused on David. Then we then get to the group, the camera kind of pulls out a bit and it shows their life and then the people that they're immediately involved with. And then this episode, the camera pulls back a little further and we get a wider view of the world that they're operating in and how they're just a piece of the larger picture. We've kind of talked about it in prior episodes, but this is the time where we really get our first glimpse of there are many things happening that are outside the field of view of them, but we just kind of get our first glimpse of it in this episode. Do the next 2 kind of follow that idea that we're pulled out, we're not as directly focused on individuals of the group and more how everything in the world is happening and they're a part of it?
I wish it did it more than it
Yeah.
does. Like I said, like, I don't want to say it's bad because it's not bad, but the next episode is sort of like it loses that. Like it goes off theme a bit, I think. Like,
I agree.
As far as David losing his shit, yeah, it leans into that fully, I think, and like how far he wants to go and like his own sort of like journey of self-destruction. Like that's like we go more into that than anything else. But as far as like them being a small piece, no, they become like the biggest damn piece in the entire pie, which is a little annoying because everything that this episode does to set that up is sort of erased, and it's one of the things that bugs me a little bit. It doesn't do it to like the nth degree, but I mean, yeah. And we'll get to it next week.
Yeah,
There's things about the action that actually bug the shit out of me. Okay. I know it's anime, but like, yeah, we'll get there.
There may be a shark involved, and there may be some jumping.
Sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
completely.
Yeah.
Some jumping. Yeah, some jumping.
Yeah.
It almost suffers from like MCU-isms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like,
that's a perfect way to
if
put
you
it.
can hit it home, it fucking hits. But if you miss even by the littlest bit, you're like, oh, all right.
Oh, isn't that nice?
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it, honestly.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Zach, you ready to give your take and show us what you got?
Yeah, I hope you guys
show us
liked
what you
this
got.
one. This one was really just letting my brain fucking melt. Kind of like, complete winged. But okay, so for this episode, to be honest, I never liked David from the beginning. I just don't like him as a character. I don't like him as a person.
Bye, Zach.
I don't know why that's so funny to me.
Fuck that punk bitch. That's right, Zach. You tell him, man. What's up?
No, I really didn't. I didn't like David from the beginning. So when I saw when I saw Rebecca and I saw the other Edgerunners, I thought these guys are really fucking cool. But then you start seeing them getting picked off one by one, and you're like, well, fuck me. And David's still here. But in this episode, you finally get to see that pompous, arrogant, ignorant attitude that he has, where he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm fucking special," I'm definitely gonna, yada yada, and it finally comes back to bite him in the ass, and the innocent life was taken as a result. But to be honest, with all their crimes that they've all committed, dude, like who knows how many innocent people has died in the crossfire doing all of that kind of shit. So. It was a decent episode. I really liked the psychosis part the most. I was like, oh man, if I was tripping on acid right now, I totally would watch this scene just to see the guns come out and everything. But I liked it. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. It wasn't the most grabbing for me. Honestly, it was probably the last episode is what I was like, damn, I did not expect the way for it to end the way it did. So I'm excited for us to keep pushing to get to that point. But yeah, that's my take on the show. I'm gonna keep inking this and editing along the way, but I hope you guys like it. All right, it's a little wet.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Oh,
shit.
wow.
Nice.
That's I like that.
So I don't know. Dorio was like maybe before she met Maine or something. She was kind of doing, a mission or whatever. I still got some editing I gotta do.
Yeah, she does seem younger now that you mention that, which is interesting.
You captured that she is a powerhouse.
Yeah, she ain't fucking around.
Yeah,
muscle mommy.
Yeah. So, I still got some things to do for it. So let me zoom in a little bit.
Nice.
C'est magnifique.
So
before you, I just do want to Joker. That's thank you so much, brother. You didn't.
Man, good on you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. 5 memberships given out. I appreciate that a ton.
You're the man.
Yeah. Thank you, Joker. It was really cool of you to do that.
Nice.
And so that was awesome pick. And so again, we're gonna be auctioning off all these pieces that Zach has done at the end of each show. So there's gonna be some Arcane, some Scavenger's Reign. There are going to be Cyberpunk Edgerunners. We're going to be doing. there's some content for your members. I can't be selfish. Oh, I appreciate that. We're going to be doing X-Men 97 next. I know Bag is chomping at the bit to do that one.
Oh my
Damn,
god,
dude.
So
me
yeah.
too.
Bro, that finale, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Fuck.
Wait to the back room, bro.
Hey, don't be spoiling. Come on now.
Oh, I'm not gonna spoil a thing, man.
Yeah.
It's just that thing we were just talking about, where it's like if you hit it out of the park, it's like,
Yes.
oh yeah,
That hit it out of the park.
Wow.
Oh damn. I'm sold now.
Hey, Bag. There was a shot of Zach in that episode. I don't know if you saw him.
Oh, fuck you.
yeah.
Puck was little Puck. He's from Alpha Flight. He's in there. That's Zach. He's in there.
Oh shit.
Man, all I know is that it didn't work out with Professor X because Cyclops showed up in this episode of Edgerunners and is talking to Faraday. I'm like, what's up, man?
So look out for that one. That's going to be in the next couple of weeks because once this one's done, it's going to be X-Men 97, and I'm really looking forward to that. Also, not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday, the 29th, at 7:00 Eastern, we're going to be doing Heavy Metal the movie. So come join us for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. I have a lot of movies that we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing Akira. We're going to be doing Ghost in the Shell. We're going to be doing Iron Giant. We're going to be doing like tons of. I know amateurs dying to do the Iron Giant one. But there's going to be a lot of animated movies on Wednesdays now. I'm going to be doing that. There's going to be different people coming in and out doing takes, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, I know another one we should do. Titan AE.
Oh, Titan AE.
Oh, man.
That's on the list. That one's on the list.
Wow.
All the stuff you guys been saying, I haven't seen these.
Oh, you are gonna. Oh, this is gonna be great.
Yeah, like I'm honestly, like I could totally, I would get what you guys be like. Are you seriously like never seen Akira or any of these? I'd be like, I would be on your side, but I'm also kind of like, getting a good kick out of it because I'm get to witness this for the first time and see why you guys are loving it so much.
Yeah, well, and I think it's going to be interesting for us because so many of us saw it like in the time that it came out, or they're about you're going to be viewing it fresh and at a distance from when it came out to see if it still holds up for you, seeing it fresh now.
Nos, I would do the Brave Little Toaster. That's a great film.
Brave Little
that
Toaster
movie
is
rocks.
That is a good movie, actually.
It is.
Wasn't there a sequel too? I remember.
Dude, there was 2 sequels,
Yeah.
and the third one is absolutely insane. It's The Brave Little Toaster Goes to Mars, and it
Sounds amazing.
It is some low effort bullshit, but like there are parts that are absolutely phenomenal. Just for the laughs.
Sounds like me when I smoke too much weed, man.
Oh my god.
Well, there's a list of movies that we're going to be doing. And through the summer, I'm going to be going through Primal throughout the day. I'm off all summer, so I'm going to be doing that. And if anyone wants to join me, they're more welcome to join me if they're available. I know people got to work, but
wait, you're not talking about that Canadian TV series, are you?
Primal, the Gedney Tartakovsky from that was on Adult Swim.
Oh, okay, all right,
yeah.
That cartoon was
great animation.
I was
zero dialogue
that when I was
and
in Hubert school, dude. That was amazing.
Yeah. So I'm going to be doing that. There's a lot coming up in the future. I'm looking forward to it. I want to say huge thanks to the guys here. Thank you so much for coming on, you guys. I appreciate you coming on here and talking about this stuff. It's a lot of fun. Everyone in the chat, you guys were awesome tonight. Like, you guys were great. I appreciate you all. Come back next week as we do episode 9, the second last episode. Tuesdays we do Scavenger Rain, so come check out that as well. And then anyone want to mention, we'll go around the horn quickly, where they're going to be in the next week, what they're going to be doing on their channels, or what channels they're going to be on. Amateur Analyst, what's going on with you, bro?
Yeah, on Monday, I'm going to be on MMM. That's Cannoli's channel, doing Mad Max Fury Road.
Nice.
And then other than that, for this next week, I'm just back on here on Thursday.
Nice.
To do episode 9. So yeah.
Awesome. Sammy, what about you, bro?
I'm taking the weekend off, and I'm going to the casino with my buddies. And then
Nice.
and then if I still have a house when I get back, I will it'll just be a regular week. I'll be back here for Scavenger's Reign. Then I'll be on Roman's channel on Thursday. I hope I'm starting to dread that because I know the Acolyte is coming down the pike, and I know we're going to be getting into that nasty stuff pretty soon. And then right back here for Cyberpunk.
Nice. Bagface, what's going on with you, bro?
I'm on Scene Invaders every week, twice a week right now, which is pretty fun. We're doing a show called Dark Matter. It's like another Apple TV show, but it's super cool. It's about like quantum physics and like superpositioned, and that's all stuff I'm really into. So it's been a lot of fun. And then we just did the finale of Sugar, which is that Colin Farrell show that like.
Oh, you've been saying that was good,
dude.
Yeah.
They just wrapped it up. Holy shit. Yeah, y'all should check it out. Colin Farrell is like probably the most underrated actor in
I was going to
Hollywood.
say that.
I
He's
agree.
darn good.
Man,
He's the,
fantastic.
if I remember correctly, he's the guy who's playing the Penguin. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
insane, man. Like his range is absurd. So
He
like,
played Bullseye in the original Daredevil.
I
film.
know.
Yeah, and
he was
dude,
fantastic.
fun.
I loved his role.
Yeah.
yeah,
But-
it's madness.
He was
When he
shooting
kills that
great.
old lady with the peanut on the airplane,
yeah.
where she's talking to him, and he's just going like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah."
So fucking good.
Yeah, you guys are killing it.
No,
on
I
Teen
can't believe
Invaders.
that was him. He's so fucking young, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys are
Um,
killing it over there. So good
thanks,
job
man.
on you guys.
Yeah.
It's a good crew. It's it's good vibes like this. And yeah, still always working on BAGFACE videos, but I think they're going to be very different and weird. It might involve some poetry, so it'll get weird.
Ooh,
Cool.
Wow.
I'm for it, man.
yeah. Blue collar. Where are you gonna be, man?
See, today I just finished Stellar Blade. Not bad.
Yeah.
Nice.
All those boobs. But
You recommend it?
definitely, yeah. I mean, you can joke all day, which we do about the whole TNA, but after a while, Pornhub is free. That that only sells you so far for a whole point. They're dropping $60 in a game. It's got to be actually a good game because it gets boring
Agreed.
fast if that's all you stare at. Just because she never gets naked in a game. It's just it's very jiggly. It's good to look at, but dumping 50 hours into a game, it's got to be fun, and it's actually a pretty goddamn good game too. And it's got a very good twist ending. The twist ending I didn't see coming because there's two different endings. I got the good ending, which took a lot of time.
No bullshit. Made both cuts.
Lance's channel, we're doing Band of Brothers episode 3, which I make some stills for tomorrow.
Nice.
Drinker said he'll be on whenever he gets a chance because Drinker. He's busy as fuck, but he's like he'll be on some Band of Brothers, and it's always cool because it just everybody from Gooch to BAGFACE to Sammy. When you start meeting more people, they start bringing their audiences, and everybody just gets bigger and bigger. So whenever Drinker hops on to Lance, it helps everybody out,
Yeah.
And that's it. Me and Gooch will see you like Enzo Monday. Tuesday we're doing Tombstone on Tuesday, and
Nice.
and then next week is Mad Max Furiosa, which is there's already some good and bad I'm hearing about Furiosa, man. I'm not sure what to expect.
I know what I'm expecting.
Yeah.
I heard
think
bad about
we're
Fury
expecting the
Road
same
and
thing.
watched it and loved it, so I don't know.
That's
say
what
So I heard good about Fury Road and watched it, and it was shit.
See,
you didn't like it. See, that's the
No.
thing. It's such a mixed bag for people.
I'll work
Yeah.
on that, Nas.
that's why I'm looking forward to can always stream on Monday because Fury Road does seem to be pretty divided, which is
Yeah, a lot of people hate it, which surprises me, and it's like I'd love to
I thought
see
it was
why.
a movie masterpiece, Fury Road.
a lot of people feel that way, but then
I think it's
Yeah.
a visual masterpiece.
for a good win. Oh,
That was
Mhm.
that was
Well, the
meh.
Yeah,
problem
it's
is that
just the thing.
Gooch is trying to end this at some point, so I'm not going to get into the numerous issues I have with Fury Road.
Well, if you guys are interested on Monday,
I'll be in
on
chat.
Cannoli's channel.
I will be I won't be able to do it. But Mr. Goodwin, where are you going to be this week? Are you on Mr. Brown's
so-
this weekend?
Do what?
Are you on Mr. Brown's this week?
I don't know. One never knows with Mr. Brown. You tend to get heads up a little late. Just kind of depends. So I know that tomorrow on B-Sides we're doing a tribute to Roger Corman.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We're going to do a double header of his movies, and then all of us have been researching like interesting things about him to bring up. I mean, his impact on movie making and the number of people that he not only gave their first chance, but actually convinced them to become directors in the first place because they had no interest in doing so. And he really saw the future in the 90s where the options for independent studios were rapidly shrinking because of the decisions that the studios and the theater chains made, and he foresaw that the internet would start to disrupt that stuff. And he's talking about that like in the mid 90s. So he's really underrated for the impact that he had on cinema and giving so many people a chance, and his genius of which the modern movie making desperately needs, the understanding that you do the hard work in pre-production so that you get to fucking work when the cameras start rolling, and you have a set budget and you do it and you get it out, and your job is to entertain the end. Boy, would it be awfully nice to have a Roger
I was
Corman
going to
running
say,
some
we
fucking
need it now
studios.
more than ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
You all need to expand your movie watching. I don't know, routines. There is so much good film out that came out this year, dude. This year has been fucking great.
Been saying that bag. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because the problem, and like meeting Gooch and everybody, you start realizing that a lot of people out there, they hate watching, gets clicks. But I ask everybody, hey, who's seen Land of Bad? And you hear crickets. I'm like, wow, Land of Bad was a fucking great movie, and 2 people saw it. Just like last year, The Covenant was a good movie, and 4 people saw it.
I like
Man.
But you know, how many people want to bitch about Star Wars Rings of Power? And then what about Land of Bad?
Yeah, I'm sick of it, man. I want to watch good stuff.
It's out there too. Like it's kicking. There's a lot
Right.
of good stuff.
The difference is that, and again, what Corman was saying is that when you were an indie studio, you could get broad release in theaters back in the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and even into the 80s. Right. That is no longer the case. You have to actively, as an audience, go and search it out now.
Yeah.
Whereas
it's always
before, you
streaming
always
now.
had the option.
Yeah.
Right. But that's okay. So I get to doom scroll through, a huge fucking garbage pile of things to find that one gem.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past, it was showing up in your theater. You could show up on a Friday or Saturday and see something that was out of the ordinary, that was out of your wheelhouse, and be exposed to it. Now it's less discovery of new things and more active searching, and that's an entirely different mindset.
Oh, by the way, Blue Collar Bags, when you come across films like that, just send me a little DM on Twitter and be like, hey, check this out.
That's what, and me and Lord talks the other thing we call our low bar review, a live breakdown, and he's got military experience. He goes, dude, from a guy in the military, goes, that's one of the best military films I've ever seen, and that was so far with our low bar reviews my highest viewed video, because no one talked about Land of Bad. And I'm like, hey, Russell Crowe, Milo Ventimiglia, whatever, Chris Hemsworth, how the fuck his last name, but Chris Hemsworth's younger brother. But it was a really good fucking movie, and no Russell Crowe, and no one talked about it.
It's crazy. Yeah, I haven't even heard about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, because everyone, that's the thing about, especially with us being on YouTube, not us specifically, but like there's so many people seeking woke stuff, or like, throwing labels on something, or doing the negative takes, and I'm just like, it was fun for a short stint, but like I really want to get back to like going over the things that we love the most, that we really enjoy, having these discussions, having friendly debates where you're not taking it personal. That's the stuff I really want to get into. Love doing, doing this. I love doing it. Like everyone has a different take.
Well, that's the thing, is that everybody, it's easy clicks to do the, shit on latest dumpster fire that came out that you knew was going to be a dumpster fire, and who the fuck cares, right? The more interesting thing is found something really good, or go back in time and talk about something that was really good and had an impact for generations, like, heavy metal or Akira or Ghost in the Shell, right? I would much rather spend my time talking about that than shitting on the latest, clown show that came out from a bunch of incompetents running a studio when they couldn't, balance their checkbook.
Yeah, you can trip over the garbage these days.
Yeah, I was like, just walk by, and go, oh look, a dog shit in the yard. Yeah. I don't need to become a veterinarian to analyze the fucking dog shit. It's dog shit. Let's move on.
Leaning over at the dog shit and goes, ooh, it smells.
Yeah,
and you're like,
let's do a DNA sample, see what kind of. And I don't care. It's dog shit. Move on.
Nos, I'm not lying. This movie's on the list. So,
Land Before Time.
See, I'll have to give that movie another watch, because I hated that movie growing up.
It's
isn't it like 10 movies?
There's like,
I never saw that.
Just the first one. And I would like to do it later down the road.
I prefer We're Back.
It's like
Oh
another
hell
musical about
yeah!
tree stars.
We're
Please.
back with a dinosaur in New York City.
Yeah, I like that better.
Yeah, somebody in
Well,
chat mentioned Small Soldiers. That's definitely one.
Oh yeah,
that's
a
another
good-
fucking great
Oh,
one.
That's a
dude.
banger.
Is that really an animation?
yeah. It's
though?
not really an
That's not-
anime.
Yeah.
it's- I
It's
mean,
a-
they're
it's
animated.
Still a
but
banger.
If you do Atlantis, I swear.
Atlantis is
That's
a
on,
banger.
that's on the list.
Oh man, count me
Actually,
in. Dude.
what is it?
Yeah.
A lot of animators, and I know this just because of word of mouth through some of the professional. One of my instructors at the Cuba School actually worked on that film, and he
Nice.
said him and a lot of other colleagues that didn't work on the film except himself said that it was at the time it was one of the best animation movies.
Oh, it's
ever.
incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's phenomenal.
Even watching it now, it's like fucking so incredible.
This
see.
movie-
Oh,
Holds up
Watership
super
Down.
good.
Yeah, I was
Watership
just
Down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
about to
This-
say that.
This is like the movie that set up heavy metal. This is
Yeah.
like the
Yep.
this is the OG. This is
Yeah.
that's on the list. I have Fritz the Cat. I have
Yes.
Lord of the Rings.
Ritz
I
the
have
cat.
Mhm.
I have like a list like of good 2D animations for
Fire
like
and Ice?
Bluth, Bakshi, Fire and
yeah.
Ice is definitely on there. Getting into like the old school animation, I definitely want to get into that and talk
Secret of
about that.
Nim?
Secret of Nim, Don
Don Bluth.
What
Don
about?
Bluth.
I might catch some shit from this. Could we do Fantasia?
Fantasia is
Is there something to
why would
talk
you get
about
shit-
though?
I think it's ambitious for the time it came out.
The
Yes.
OG Fantasia, not
Yeah,
the
the
2000.
yeah, the OG, yeah.
Not the dumb
OG
one where
one
the
is
whale gets
insane.
lost. Yeah, the
Yeah.
old.
If you guys have movies you would like us to review, send them to me, and I will definitely write them down and do them at some point. Wicked City is a great movie. There's so many movies, animated movies I want to go over to. I do want to get into the 70s, 60s, and 70s, or mainly the 70s, mostly because there were so many innovative things done there, and they were doing R-rated films before. Like,
Yeah, that came out of a collective group that was like in San Francisco in the
Yes.
Bay Area, and they were doing like posters, and like for concerts and bands and stuff like that. And then they started having kind of these conventions where all of these indie artists were putting things together, and they started up doing animation through those connections. It's a really interesting history. Yeah.
yeah, I want to get into that and talk about it because it's incredible the work they did. Like, they set the tone for like everyone that's doing animation now, like South Park, you name it, all that kind of stuff is set up by these guys. So I want to. Wizards is another one. Like, there's so many that
Yeah.
yes, so there's so many that we can do. So I do again say thank you to everyone for coming on tonight. Everyone in the chat, you guys were fucking awesome. Thank you so much for watching tonight. We had anywhere from like 28 to 40 people watching tonight, so bouncing in and out. We had quite a few people on Twitch for the first time, so that was awesome. We'll see you guys next week. I'll be, I might do a stream on the weekend. I'm not sure. I might just take it off. But next week, Scavengers Reign on Tuesday, 10 o'clock Eastern. I am doing an interview with Dark Gift, going over his book. That will be the last show that I do for interviews and stuff like that. I want to get into animated movies on Wednesdays. And then we are going to be doing episode 9 for Cyberpunk Edgerunners next Thursday, 10 o'clock Eastern. Everyone be here. Thank you so much for joining us. You guys are awesome, and we'll see you next week. Take care.
Bye.
Bad.